Oh, that was a fun episode.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, it was probably one of our best. You got any Halloween plans coming up? I mean, I know with everything going on.
Well, I'm like a theater person, so I always love Halloween and dressing up and
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well, that's a lot of. Hold on,
What?
my computer must be weird.
Oh yeah.
Well, it says that it's my so you know you have a Windows computer. It says in the bottom right, where the date is.
Mm-hmm.
It says 6/30/2024.
Yeah. Mine says that too. I don't know why. That's weird.
Wait, yours? Hold on.
Yeah, 6/30/2024.
And and I'm noticing something else, Sam.
It's 8.
It's 8. But even more so, I'm noticing something else.
Yeah. What's that?
Just a moment ago, I was in the basement of my childhood home, and now I'm in a different room.
That's cool.
It looks like how I would decorate my own room in like an apartment if I had one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a different building too.
Now, is anything in the room that you're in different?
I mean, yeah. It's a. I mean, not. Oh, there's a desk that's new, but
It's pretty much the same.
yeah, I lead a sad life.
So if we had awaken at the end of after we had gone through a wormhole or something, I would be in a completely different area in a completely different part of my life, and you would be almost.
Well, I'm in a different house.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm just not as freaked out by this whole timey-wimey thing as you.
Yeah. Well, something's definitely off, or maybe, just maybe, we went on the longest hiatus of our lives for this podcast.
Some probably assumed it was just done.
It was.
I mean, it was.
It was, and possibly is. We don't really know.
We'll see.
Let's drop the act. Okay.
Welcome.
We're back
to 2024.
The world of tomorrow.
Oh boy.
Why are we doing this?
Our friend asked us to.
When it boils down to it, yeah, that is the biggest
Hi, Noah.
reason. Noah asked. I feel like other people.
Did Jacob?
Jacob asked.
My mom mentions it.
Our most dedicated listeners, and we also had
Those are our most dedicated listeners.
There's also Gabe and Spencer from.
That's
We had them on.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like 5 years ago now at this point. Yeah, those were like our dedicated 5 listeners.
And if we haven't mentioned you, you're awesome too.
Yeah, there were other people who would reach out when we were posting the podcast weekly, or as weekly as we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
We had a decent dedicated group of less than 10 people probably.
Hey, that's okay.
And that's fine.
You know what? That's an accomplishment.
We never set out to podcast to see our names in lights. We just...
It was a way to keep in touch, if I remember correctly.
That's kind of how... I feel like that's kind of really what it became very quickly.
Yeah, because you went up to
Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
We had kind of started... I remember our 1-year anniversary from our perspective, which is the name of this show if you're listening now. And this is the first time you've ever listened to this podcast.
If you stumbled across this somehow.
We did a 1-year anniversary show because the calendar year had come up quickly, and we had done it for a full year, which was pretty impressive. And we talked about the history of the show and how it started. And we started in 2018 doing a completely different show that we kind of reformulated into the show that we do now. I say now. that we did then.
We do it now. It's happening again.
We do it now.
We do.
We do. God damn it. I
got you.
Okay, so we started off as a completely different show that we just thought it would be fun. I think it was an idea that I had.
What's new in your life?
And we started to do that.
Since we've come into this new era.
An almost exactly 4-year hiatus. And what is new in my life? Honestly, not a lot.
That's fun.
Well, I am 4 years older, so that's fun.
23 years young.
I'm 23 years young. The non-stopping march of time is slowly taking me away.
Don't have an existential crisis right now.
But wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that get views?
No.
I don't know. Would Mr. Beast do I had a existential crisis in front of 300 people video? Because then I think we might be on to something.
Good point.
I live on my own. I have moved out of my mother's basement, which was where a lot of the previous podcasts were recorded. I live in northern Kentucky, as we said.
What's your full address and social security number?
123.
Stop.
Yeah, a lot has happened, and a lot has happened that I don't want to talk about, but I have had a good 4 years, I'll say, overall. A lot has happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like?
Well, I'm engaged.
Now, isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
I'm sure she's listening right now. Possibly, unless she just really hates podcasts, or you tell her not to listen.
Well, she hates you, so.
Oh.
No, that's not true. I'm sorry. I don't mean that.
No, I always got it.
Stop.
I feel like the first time that I met her and she was holding a gun to my chest, I might have been able to pick up on that.
She's been known to do that. I'm engaged. That's a lot of fun. She's wonderful. She's amazing.
You're both so lucky to have found each other. And you're both wonderful people.
Mm-hmm. She's amazing. I don't know about me, but
so it's funny because we stopped podcasting about 4 years ago, and we had, like you had said earlier, we had kind of had this notion that if we kept doing it, we would stay in touch. I don't want to say either of us are bad friends to each other, but we're both one to not reach out as often as we feel like we should, or whenever we think about it. But it's kind of funny that like since we stopped podcasting, those 4 years, we stayed in contact perfectly. Like I would say even like these last, I don't know, 3 to 4 months have been like we talk a lot more than we used to.
Yeah.
And
it's been good.
So we didn't need a podcast to keep in touch because we are.
Who even needs a podcast?
Yeah, who needs a podcast?
That's why this is the last episode of From Our Perspective.
Yeah, this is it. So it's been 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4. Right, yes. That's how math works.
Yes, it was 2020. It's now 2024.
It's still wild.
I know. When we left off, it was October 2020. And I don't know if you all remember this. It has been a while. We would start each episode and we would kind of have a little catch up. The problem is that 2020, we were in the middle of a terrible pandemic. And we never really had a whole lot to talk about.
That's okay.
In the spirit of the weekly catch-ups, we're going to have some weekly mustards. Oh!
I hate you.
Oh! In the spirit of weekly catch-ups, we're going to catch up from where we left off 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And
they cover all the things that we should have been talking about.
Yeah, we'll see.
I worry that this is going to be a really depressing list that you're going to read off to me.
Well, I'm definitely not going to read everything.
Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Because some of them are kind of bummers, and other ones are just like not very. There's not a lot of comedy gold to tap into, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Not like my weekly mustards bit.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I think I'm gonna edit in a rim shot right after that one because I feel like that's only gonna elevate it. And then now people are listening to me say that now, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, that was funny that he added the rim
happened.
shot."
Yeah,
And now he's
I
talking
remember
about
that
it. Anyway.
happened. No, that's what they'll say. They'll say all their friends around the water cooler. They'll say, "I was listening to this podcast," and the guy did a rim shot, and then he talked about it later. And I've never been the same since.
Your life has changed, and
Yep.
you can thank me for it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, what happened? And what year are you starting with?
2020.
Oh, okay. What happened? A lot of things.
Well, we'll kind of go through. The list that I found covers the entire year, so let's just talk about 2020 as a whole.
Okay.
Something that a lot of people, it was a big deal when it happened in 2020, and I don't think we ever really talked about it, was that Meghan Markle and Harry, the Prince of whatever, left the royal family.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can just do that. You can just leave your family, especially if they're like the head of state of a foreign nation. I guess that they wouldn't be from a foreign nation.
That would be their nation.
But from our perspective,
they
are a foreign nation. So yeah, they left. They left the royal family and came to our country. Well, Meghan's from here, but still. And now they live in California. So that was... I remember the world being shook by that. Everyone talked about it because it was 2020 and nothing was happening. We had like...
I don't distinctly remember that happening. So I was not shook by this news.
Well, I
don't think I ever received it.
And that's surprising because we had like three things. We had baking bread, Tiger King, and the royal family during quarantine.
Right.
Did Tiger King wake something deep in you? Did you forget about Tiger King?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Now that's something, isn't it?
That's a shit show.
Oh
boy. All right, what's happening next?
Keeping on brand, Brexit actually happened that year.
Oh my god. Lots of English stuff.
I know.
The British are doing things.
They're definitely... I was going to say the British are coming in reference to Paul Revere, but I don't want to talk about Prince Harry splooging everywhere, you know?
Nobody brought that up. You said
I was
that.
going... Yeah, I know. And then I feel like there's a precedent.
Did the joke come into my mind? Yeah.
Of course.
Did I say anything about it? No, that was you.
Now here we'll pull back
dirty,
the curtain a
dirty
little
boy.
bit. When we started
Don't
this podcast...
pull back the curtain. He needs his privacy.
When we started this podcast, we both signed a contract that said anytime an ejaculate joke presents itself, we have to mention it.
Okay, fair enough. You better watch out.
He's coming for you.
He's coming for you.
Parasite won the Oscar for Best Film, which was like a really big deal because it was a foreign film and it had won
and
Best Overall Picture.
The Academy hates foreign people.
That's true. They do segregate them. They get their own category.
I just always think it's hilarious when there's one of the Best Picture nominees is a foreign film. Mm-hmm. And like any other one of the other foreign films has any chance at winning the foreign film one.
Yeah.
I almost feel bad.
Because it got both.
Yeah, of course it got both. It was a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah.
And winner.
There were something I've skipped a few. This one is a little bit of a bummer. But
okay.
Australia had like some really terrible bushfires that year.
Oh yeah, Australia caught on fire. I remember that.
And then like California had the same thing. It was just
Yeah.
like an awful year for fires. But
When did Canada catch on fire? Was that this year?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think it was because we're all of that like all of the fumes and toxins were being blown south.
Yeah, because I had really bad allergies this year, and the doctor was like, "Hey, Canada's on fire. That might
Blame
be why."
Canada.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had technically the Australian bushfire had technically started at the end of 2019, but it ran through March.
Now you said the word bush. Does that apply in our contract of making genitalia jokes?
We have brought it up now, so I think it is fair to say that yes, it does.
Okay.
It is under that umbrella.
Well, I've met that obligation.
Thank you.
So
But yeah, so it had started in September and it had ran through March, and then that summer of 2020, California had like the largest wildfire season in the state in the state's history.
everything's on fire. That's kind of appropriate for that year.
Yeah. World War III became a trending topic because
Yeah.
of international relations between the U.S. and Iran.
I remember that.
Because the guy who was in charge of us missile striked a general of Iran. And spoiler alert, World War III has been on the front of everyone's mind since then.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet, so that's good.
Not yet.
This list says we were risking it all to watch Cats, Doolittle, and Sonic the Hedgehog in theaters.
Oh my god, I forgot about those movies.
Yeah, we went to see Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my god, we did. That might be like one of the last things I saw in a theater.
That's sad. That's actually really sad.
I just remember we went in and there was nobody.
And
I
we
was
were
like,
so
yes,
excited.
we're about to get to watch the Sonic movie with no person in here, and I can be as loud as and annoying as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then this family during the previews.
Yeah.
Who gets to a movie and I'm sorry. I'm getting angry.
No, it's okay. I do remember when they walked in. You rolled your eyes so hard that it was almost audible. We almost heard it.
Yeah.
You were very frustrated, I recall.
It's not fair. Trace.
It got taken from us.
This world's cruel.
It is, and we lost something that day. We lost a part of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me get some. Let me get some really good ones. Some of these I just do not care about. We lost some really big titans of the entertainment industry. 2020 was the year that Chadwick Boseman passed away.
Oh yeah. I thought you weren't going to bring up boomers. Are you talking about people dying?
Well, I talked about two horrible wildfires.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I already forgot again.
I think it's fine. I mean, we're honoring them, these people. But yeah, we had lost Chadwick Boseman, blues icon Little Richard, Kobe Bryant. That one was wild.
Oh yeah.
And that was the year we lost Alex Trebek.
Oh yeah. This is all very sad.
Do you remember Murder Hornets?
Yeah, nothing much came of that one. Everybody's
Yeah.
really worried about that.
2020 was like it felt like a new every month was
It was a new plague.
a new something, and
Let my people go.
Moses came to Pharaoh man and said, "Let my people go." Yeah, Murder Hornets were like a big thing that everyone was worried about, and then nothing. I never saw
I
one.
never met one.
It was weird. Here's a good one. Chris Evans doxed his own dick by accidentally leaking his own nude. Chris Evans gave us one of the only relatable celebrity moments of 2020.
I didn't know he did that.
I never saw it. I remember that happening. I never saw his little. Well, I don't know if it was little. I never saw his wiener. So hopefully, it was really enjoyable for everyone who saw it. He took it like a champ. He was very kind of.
It was leaked?
He accidentally leaked it himself.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It doesn't. It links to another article, which would probably explain it.
Oh, that's okay, but
I'm not that interested.
I like to just imagine how it happened. Like,
Yeah.
he was on Twitter. He meant to attach a different photo. Attach the wiener pic.
His
And
his
oh no,
penis. And
this
then-
was supposed
and
to
then
be
everyone-
a charity thing.
This was a
It's got,
GoFundMe
like,
for a really
GoFundMe for a
for a fan.
Yeah.
No, it was his
it's got my
penis.
wiener.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet that GoFundMe would have met its goal.
Oh, yeah. He's a good-looking guy.
It's a handsome fella.
This one was weird. I don't know if you remember that. If you remember this one, the internet stanned Kim Yo Jong, Kim Jong Un's sister.
Oh yeah. Then we thought that he had died, right?
That was. I don't know if that was this year.
Okay.
But yeah,
Is that what you're referring to?
No, his sister was like a big talking point that year because she I think the whole thing was that she's attractive,
Oh, I see.
and she was like, there might have been a couple of pictures of her that were like kind of relatable. And whenever you see someone doing something relatable on the internet,
Like leaking your dick pics.
yeah, that happens to all of us. Whenever you see someone do something relatable on the internet, you just love them.
You comment relatable.
You comment #relatable.
Anyone watching in 2024?
Came back to this to see that. Yeah, it was weird because like she is a part of a dictatorial regime.
I mean, who hasn't?
Who hasn't been a part of a
hasn't been?
dictatorial regime?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say me, but then I remember 2018. You know what? I better not get into it. I'm on the run from the ICC, and the Geneva Convention did not apply to me that year. You know, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Next.
Everything was cake, and we will never.
Oh my
trust
god.
again.
I remember that. This is very strange.
Is it cake? Are you
Probably.
cake?
I'm probably like 5% cake.
Have you had cake recently?
No, but it's in my DNA.
You've had enough to where
I've had my genes spliced with cake.
that's why you're so sweet.
Right.
Yeah, this is a phenomenon that's still around.
Is it really?
There's a Netflix show called Is It Cake? They released another season of it relatively recently.
Well, I haven't been watching it, and that's all that matters. So
Carol Baskin was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars.
that's fucking crazy.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Remember her?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so she was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. She got famous from a documentary where the whole crux of her character was that she
Was being accused.
was absolutely hated by the main character in this documentary, and she was accused of murdering her husband.
Yep, and feeding him to tigers.
Which is insane, if true.
Pretty
but
badass, though.
It is not true, because I think they have found her first husband. And I think he did just like...
He was not in the stomach of a tiger.
Yeah, he wasn't still in the stomach of a tiger. No, he like fled the country. Or maybe he went to Puerto Rico, which is technically not fleeing the country.
I have no idea. I don't know the follow-up. I just know that she didn't. I like got that information somewhere.
And you said, good. What would I do if my queen...
Right.
If my queen had
Carol
killed
Baskin.
her husband.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
Oh god. Let's some of these I just do not care about. Quibi launched, then shut down only 6 months and $1.75 billion later. Do you remember Quibi? It was like the streaming service that was launched that was supposed to be for smartphones, where content was going to be made specifically for smartphones.
Why would you do that?
Because Hollywood elites are stupid and awful people, and they think they know good ideas, and a lot of times they don't.
Yeah. So Quibi didn't make it off the ground, or it did for like 6 months, and then it didn't.
And yeah, it was gone, and they sunk almost $2 billion into it.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. It's like that time I bought a candy bar, and I dropped it. That was the same like amount of investment.
That's like the individual's comparison to a company creating Quibi and then losing it 6 months
dropping
later.
A candy bar. It's honestly pretty accurate.
None of the executives attached to Quibi lost money. I can almost guarantee that. Somehow, some way, they made
it out of there
fine.
richer.
Yeah. Ebola came back.
Oh yeah, that was another one of the scares.
Yeah, we were dealing with COVID, and then Ebola just shows up. So that was fun.
Yeah, very.
We're getting towards the end of this list.
Well, I'm eager to find out what happened in 2021, because we were in a time stasis. What happened to us? What was
wormhole?
the bit? Oh, wormhole. Okay.
Yeah, wormhole.
What happened in 2021? I wasn't there to experience it.
Yeah, let's figure this out. We're learning what we missed.
Yeah, even though I kept saying the word remember.
Yeah. So TikTok got really famous during the pandemic. That's not what the first thing is, but I don't know if you remember, a bunch of TikTok creators banded together to create Ratatouille the TikTok musical.
Excuse me?
Okay, so yeah, you never heard any of that, did you?
Why would I have heard of that?
It was big. It was big.
I would understand. I can understand why that would be big.
Ratatouille, the TikTok musical, which began as a somewhat sincere joke on the app, gave us hope for wholesome content by raised over $1 million for struggling actors. So it was a bunch of TikTok creators, and I think some more famous people traditionally famous people might have gotten attached. And it was like a joke, but then it kind of started to become a joke that felt real, and then it happened. Now, it was something that I myself was out of the loop for as well, but I had at least heard about it.
I didn't know that existed.
It's kind of hard to talk about 2021 without at least briefly mentioning...
Without talking about the Ratatouille musical on TikTok.
Exactly. It's even harder to talk about 2021 without at least briefly mentioning January 6th. And
Yep.
that's all we'll say about that.
And we're moving on to the next topic.
Do you remember the meme where it was during Biden's inauguration, Bernie Sanders sitting there with mittens?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Looking all cozy as another member of our failing gerontocracy. Simpler times.
The good old days.
This time we had lost. It's talking about more celebrities we lost, so I'll touch on that. We lost.
Was Betty
Larry
White
King.
that year?
No, I don't think so.
When was Betty White? That was so sad.
Yeah. We had lost Larry King.
That's sad.
It says Alex Trebek. Now, when did we lose him? Because it says 2020, and now he's on this one now, too.
That's a great question. You know what? They have the power of Google. Uh, 2020.
Okay, so they added him on to this list. You know what? Mashable.com, get your shit together. We have a podcast to run. Thank you. Norm Macdonald.
Yep.
That one hit hard.
It's tough.
That hit hard.
That one hurt my dad. I remember that.
That was the year where you should have checked on all of your white people who like comedy, because they really felt that one hard. Stephen Sondheim passed away that year. Jessica Walter. I mean, come on. If you've seen Arrested Development, you love Jessica Walter. We lost her that year.
This is all very unfortunate.
Lost some Titans. Now, you have to remember this. The GameStop and Dogecoin Wall Street thing.
Yeah, where was GameStop like going under, and then like people just artificially inflated it.
Basically. So it gives us a little blurb, and maybe it'll kind of help us. It'll help us recall. In a still ongoing battle of finance bros, Redditors wanting to get their bag ended up saving GameStop from being the next Blockbuster by buying up all its stock that other investors had bet against. As a result, they threw the stock market into chaos and became enemy number one of corporate hedge funds. The true victors and losers of this new stock market game remain to be seen, but 2021 popularized the concept of a collective of the 99% beating the 1% at their own game, even if it's just for the lulz for some. So no, it didn't really explain very well, but it seemingly all of the Redditors said, no, GameStop, our mecca, we can't let it go under, because it was on track to bankrupt.
Yeah.
And they had done the same for a movie theater company.
I see.
Was it AMC?
I don't know.
It was GameStop and AMC, I think, both had their stock inflated because people were like, let's get these trust fund fuckers.
Regardless, it's pretty crazy.
It is that the internet brought that many people together to make GameStop like $1 billion company.
It's almost like if we could just
time.
Come together,
we could
there
fix
could be
everything.
meaningful change in the world. But
we could fix everything that's wrong.
But that sounds like a lot of work, Trace. I'd rather just doom scroll.
Me too. Elon Musk became the richest man alive in 2021. I'm just gonna move on.
Yeah.
I hate Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Kind of with a passion. And it sucks because he doesn't even know that I exist. Isn't that sad?
That is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. That I can hate someone and they don't even know you. Yeah. Jeff Bezos also stepped down as Amazon CEO the same year. I guess so he could focus
wallow
on
in his money.
flying. Well, I guess it was more so he could focus on flying his penis-shaped rocket into space.
Right.
Do you remember him doing that?
No.
Okay. I forget the name of his space company because now all billionaires have to have space companies.
Because they want to escape the Earth.
Yeah.
And leave behind all their responsibilities.
The rocket was... Rockets are already extremely phallic.
Yeah.
But his...
I'll just look it up real quick.
Yeah,
His
even more so. His even more so, weirdly.
Yeah, that does look like a... Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very penis.
They should have put some, like, circular bits down near the bottom. That would have really helped.
The jet engines should have been 2 domes.
Yeah, like 2 little round things.
Yeah, that would have been beautiful. But yeah, he had taken William Shatner up into the space with him.
I remember that, and William Shatner was like, "My life has changed forever."
Yeah, he was looking out the window. There was a video of him looking out the window, and he just keeps going, "Oh wow,
his
wow."
mind fucking melted.
Yeah, as his aging, decrepit mind turns to soup from the exit velocity of the rocket. And then it was really funny. I don't know if that all happened this year in 2021, so we might touch on it again, or we'll touch on it and then move past it.
Don't touch his rocket.
But I really wanna.
No, bad.
What was really funny about it was that after they came back to Earth,
after they came, it's in the contract.
It's in the contract. After
he came in his penis ship.
After his
penis ship. Ejaculate.
Yes.
Come.
We've met our contract. We won't get sued.
Okay. I just like to make sure.
After it arrived back to Earth, he was in like a really goofy cowboy hat, and
he did a costume change while he was up there.
No, I don't think so. I think he might have had the cowboy hat the whole time.
Oh, I see.
But he was, and they were doing like a mini press conference, and it was all the people who were there. And William Shatner was like trying to talk about how meaningful of an experience it was. And Jeff Bezos is like screaming and hooping and hollering, and is like spraying champagne everywhere like he won the Indy 500. And he's like offering champagne to William Shatner, who was an alcoholic who is now sober.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And it was like, dude, you are such an idiot. Anyway, let's move on. The Snyder Cut happened for all of you nerds out there.
Oh my god.
The internet came together again to force Warner Brothers to give Zack Snyder final say over the Justice League.
I'm just noticing that during the whole pandemic kind of era, the internet did a lot of pushing people around because everybody was online.
Yeah, nobody could do anything, so we pushed around.
We just bullied corporations.
we pushed around the rich. There were a lot of memes about the Suez Canal getting plugged by the biggest ship ever.
Yeah, it got stuck sideways.
Do you think, you've been in situations where you were like, oh god, I gotta call somebody, and you're like embarrassed, like it happened to me after I had gotten into like a minor car accident, and I was like, oh god, I gotta call my dad, and I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy who was captaining this ship said, as soon as it got stuck, he goes, oh fuck, as he looks down at his phone when he realizes he has to call his boss?
Yeah, I guarantee you he did.
He's like,
I'd have been God, no, I absolutely lost this job.
And his boss is like, how did you get stuck in the Suez Canal? Is it like low tide? And he,
no, sir. It's like long ways stuck.
You got stuck sideways?
Yeah, I was I guess, trying to Tokyo drift out into the Mediterranean. And
That has to be the only explanation.
how did that happen?
Let's see. So it was like the start of the supply chain issues, because there were a lot of supply chain issues during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What if it was a hoax? Have we checked if it was a hoax
Oh my goodness.
by the corporations?
Yeah, there's the watermark. I can tell. It's been photoshopped.
Oh my god.
No, it doesn't really say how it had happened. Oh, no, Tokyo drifting. Yeah, he was Tokyo drifting.
I knew it.
You had it. You must have read that when it happened.
Yeah, I was really plugged into that story, I guess.
Yeah. Joe Biden's dog Major bit 2 people at the White House. I think he's bit more people since. Is
Honestly,
the funny
that's
thing.
just kind of funny. I know that
No,
that's not funny, but
I don't, like, obviously I don't advocate for dogs being put down. So
Oh my
I'm not
God.
going to say put the dog down. But
please
you should
don't.
probably get it out of the White House. I feel like you should do something else with it.
Train
if
it
it bites
properly?
2 people. That might be the best thing.
Stop telling it to attack people.
Maybe, we never asked Major if it were a presidential order.
Yeah, that's right. He'd have to follow it by law. Did you know if the president tells you to do something, you have to do it?
It's like if you suspect that someone is a police
Yeah,
officer
you
and
have
you
to
ask
tell me
them,
if you're
they
a
have
cop.
you have to tell me if you're a cop. 2021 was also the year that UFOs became really big because the U.S. government said
Right.
we do have a secret UFO task force. We lost Yahoo Answers.
Oh my god. That hurt.
That did hurt.
Now all I have is Quora, and it's useless.
Ugh, great.
It's a waste of space. Or Reddit, which is awful.
Which is the worst. Maybe not the worst. 4chan does still exist.
Oh, well, yeah. There are worse places than Reddit, but I just mean if you're trying to find the answer to something, Reddit
Oh, yeah, that is true.
is not very helpful compared to Yahoo Answers. Not that Yahoo Answers was, like, perfect, but
Yeah. Oh, Sam, I'm going to cry at this one. Oh, Kim and Kanye announced their divorce. Oh, I'm so sad. I could care less.
When are they gonna
Especially
die?
now. Especially now knowing.
is that bad to say?
When are they going to die?
Yeah.
It's not bad to say about Kanye.
Yeah. I agree.
In retrospect. Kim Kardashian, look, I am annoyed with celebrity culture, but she's not really that bad, you know?
I know she's not
She's pretty.
anti-Semitic or anything like Kanye.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling.
Yeah, that was the year that Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head made their way into the culture war.
Boy. All right. Let's keep rolling.
Yep. That was a big
Keep
one.
rolling.
I had to at least mention
Yeah, I remember that. God.
it. Juneteenth was made a federal holiday,
Yeah.
so that was good.
Very cool.
Um,
It's not too long ago that happened.
Joe Rogan got COVID-19 and boasted about taking ivermectin. Now, ivermectin was
A horse dewormer.
a horse dewormer.
Yeah.
And he boasted about taking it, so all of his empty-headed followers made an ivermectin shortage happen.
Those poor horses.
Those poor horses, they all got worms now. And those have gotta be
Those gotta be big worms.
Imagine the size of that worm. Tiger King 2 came out. The second season, I never watched it. I didn't care about Tiger
no.
King that much. But yeah, that's 2021.
Wow. I don't think we're gonna get through all of it.
We are definitely
Running out of time.
running out of time. And for whatever reason, the 2022 list is making me disable my ad blocker, which I use Opera GX. This episode of From Our Perspective is brought to you by Opera GX.
It's not. It's not. It's not. I don't think you're legally allowed to do that sort of thing.
It is not. It is not. We have 10 dedicated listeners at the most.
I think that's pretty generous.
But Opera has a built-in ad block. To the right of the address bar, click the shield. Oh, okay.
My God.
I see.
I mean, we could call it here and maybe pick up with what happened another time.
Or
we speed round it. Lightning round?
Speed run it.
Lightning, go.
Okay.
Go
Elmo versus Rocco. Do you remember anything about that?
No.
Rocco was a rock imaginary character in Sesame Street, and Elmo hated him. Wordle.
Oh boy, I remember that.
Wordle. People still do Wordle.
Yeah, I do that with my students sometimes.
Russia invaded Ukraine. Next.
Oh boy, that's fun.
Oh, the slap heard around the world. Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Oh, right. I remember that.
That one was big. That was big for a while.
That was crazy.
Monkeypox outbreak. Don't really remember that. These are some terrible events that happened. I'm going to skip all of those. This one was weird, and I know it's a bummer, but I kind of want to talk about it. Shinzo Abe was assassinated.
Yeah.
He was a former prime minister of Japan. A man 3D printed a shotgun.
That's
you
pretty
can
crazy.
do that?
Apparently.
Rest in peace. I don't know if he was a good guy. He got assassinated. That doesn't
he
mean
got
he's
shot.
a bad guy.
I don't know that he needed that.
That is true. Apparently, Queen Elizabeth died.
Oh, yeah.
Lizzie in a box, Lizzie in a box. Try Guys cheating scandal. Try Guys, they're the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I heard about this.
He was the wife guy of the four of them, and he cheated
on
his wife.
My fiance was very worked up over this. I remember that.
The whole internet was.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't plugged into that whole situation so much, but I remember her being very upset about it.
Alex Jones went on trial. That one, big win.
That was resolved recently. Did you hear about that?
No, not fully. I know that the trial ended. Officially?
Yeah, I don't know if he had to sell InfoWars or like.
Oh God, I hope he does. Well, he had, after the trial was relatively quick, and he was ordered to pay nearly $1 billion.
Well, that's what you get for saying that the victims of a school shooting were fake actors.
Yeah, Liz Truss and the Cabbage. Liz Truss was the prime minister of Great Britain for a little bit, or the United Kingdom, and because Boris Johnson had stepped down, and people had made this cabbage will live longer than Liz Truss update thing, and it did. She had the shortest tenure of any UK prime minister. She was only around for 2 months. Elon Musk buys Twitter.
Oh,
I hate him so much.
You mean X?
No, I don't.
No, I don't.
No
either.
one calls it X.
Nobody.
The world's population reached 8 billion. Crazy.
Depressing.
Let's see. Nuclear fusion was announced. That's nice. And Argentina won the World Cup.
Very cool.
2023.
What happened? Quick. Faster.
I gotta disable my ad blocker again.
Disable quickly.
Damar Hamlin collapses on field. I know you're not a big football guy. Someone's yelling to me about home ownership.
I heard them.
Oh God, that scared me. I know you're not a big football guy, but Damar Hamlin, he played for the Buffalo Bills. It was in Cincinnati, which is right next to where I live. Mm-hmm. And he got hit because of it's football. Yeah. And he stood up and collapsed, and it was one of the scariest things that had ever happened on a football field. But he's okay. He made a remarkable recovery.
Well, that's good.
I think he returned to play last year. The House Speaker crisis. where
God.
no one could figure out who the House Speaker was going to be.
Jesus.
Alec Baldwin shot somebody.
Oh, right.
Jimmy Carter enters hospice, which is crazy. Hospice is like an end-of-life thing. He's still alive.
Yeah.
Good for him. Maybe. I don't know.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I hope he's doing okay. Ke Huy Quan wins an Oscar. That was nice. He was Short Round in Indiana Jones.
Oh, right.
The missing Titanic sub. That was like a huge thing. The Titan submersible.
Yeah.
Twitter becomes X. Ugh. Barbenheimer. I did do a Barbenheimer. I watched Barbie and Oppenheimer on the same day.
I haven't seen either one.
You're missing out.
I know.
George Santos expelled from Congress. That one was beautiful. He was like the best person ever. No, he was awful, but he was really funny. And 2024, let's just bring it we'll catch up real quick. The Jeffrey Epstein things were released, so we saw flight logs. That was crazy. NASA's Ingenuity helicopter took off for its 72nd and final flight on Mars. We had helicopters on Mars. Crazy
stuff.
King Charles III was diagnosed with cancer. He's speed running his reign. Let's see. Skipping some bummers. Christopher Nolan won Best Director. Vladimir Putin won the Russian presidential election again.
Whoa. And it was totally fair.
Big surprise, definitely fair.
And nothing was rigged.
Taylor Swift became the world's first musician to become a billionaire solely from songs and concerts. That's insane.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And let's see. We're getting real close to... ChatGPT went live.
Oh, God.
AI has been a big has been talked about a lot. And yeah, that's about it. I'm skipping, obviously, some big bummers. Toby Keith died this year. Carl Weathers died this year.
Lots of sad stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of sad things these past few years, so...
It happens every year, but hey. That was the catch-up.
Yeah. I thought you were going to make a mustard joke again.
I thought about it. And I think you knew that I thought about it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too. That's why it was quiet there for a second.
Yeah.
Are they yelling about homeownership again? I thought I heard that through your headphones.
No, they're not.
How do we wrap up the show? I don't remember.
Yeah, the wormhole did a toll on us.
Yeah.
Well, typically it would end with me telling us what happened today in history.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. What happened today, Trace?
Oh, today in history, which today is obviously July 8th, 1996. The British pop band The Spice Girls released their debut single, "Wannabe," which helped make them an international sensation.
That's crazy.
That's a good song.
That's the year I was born.
Yeah, not the day though.
No.
It's about what?
It's a little
3 months too soon.
A few months too soon. If only things had aligned better.
Well, and that's the thing that really sucks is that they really wanted to wait for you, but they were like, we're sitting on this for too long.
That's crazy.
A thing that not a lot of people know about the song "Wannabe" is that if you you know how like people will play a Beatles vinyl in reverse and then they'll hear like
the devil
like
or whatever.
The devil or whatever. What a lot of people don't know about the Spice Girls debut single "Wannabe" is that if you play it in reverse, it perfectly describes your birth 3 months from now and describes your life all the way up until today, July 8th, 2024.
I've had a very uneventful life that it can be described in one song played backwards.
It's a long song. The original cut was 30 minutes. But they had to trim it for radio play.
That's an interesting fact. But did you know that the Spice Girls are actually spices?
I didn't.
Yeah.
So underneath all of that sportiness, she's actually like
a little
pepper.
Jar of ginger or whatever.
Yeah. Well, ginger spice is ginger spice is the one that's ginger.
Yeah, that's the one that's ginger. I just mean, like, you know what I'm getting at.
Okay, yeah. You're just naming all of their secret spice identities.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I'm more of a scary spice.
I'll be straight up honest with you. I forgot about this bit.
You did?
Yeah.
I meant to tell you about it before we recorded.
You started it, and I was like, oh, right. We
told
tell very truthful things
about what happened. I don't think we're running long, but we're definitely wrapping up. So why don't we wrap up how we typically do? Sam, let's go to your holiday corner.
Yeah. Today's, what was it again? July 8th. July 8th is National Blueberry Day.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Believe it or
all,
not.
summertime living is supposed to be easy, says blueberries.com. Or sorry, .org. It's an organization.
Blueberries.org is a real thing?
Sorry, blueberry.org is a real thing.
Oh, it's singular.
Yeah, blueberry.org. It's Blueberries U.S. High Blush Blueberry Council.
There's a council of blueberries?
Uh-huh. I know what blueberries taste like.
You do?
I do.
And that is?
Good.
Okay. You know, I'm not much of a blueberry guy. Because, and there's a really funny bit in a recent episode of another podcast that I listened to, that we've both listened to in the past, My Brother and Me, where Justin McElroy, one of the titular brothers, talks about vegetables and what's the deal with those, because he really tries to eat them, but they're so inconsistent. You could have a piece of celery one day and it's crisp and refreshing, and then another day or another stick of celery another day, and it tastes like dirt. Blueberries are like that. All fruits and vegetables are like that, technically.
I mean,
but blueberries are very much like that for me. I don't hate them.
I like them in a smoothie or on some pancakes.
That's true. When they're altered, they're really good, because their consistency is like, they're consistently good when they're altered.
But yeah, that's National Blueberry Day.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, I typically had a whole spiel that I would give at the end of
Do you remember
each of our episodes.
We talk about like our social media and stuff, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely remember it. But that's not really our goal anymore. We're just doing this for
we're just
fun.
doing this for the poops and dupes of it.
The poops and dupes. But yeah, this has been from our perspective. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Time. Yeah.
Hi Noah. Hi Jacob. Hi Mom.
Hi Sam's mom. Hi guys. Hi anybody else who listens to this.
Yeah, hi other people.
But yeah, this has been from our perspective. Thank you all for listening. Don't bother about telling your friends about it. Word of mouth is good, but we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Our social medias have pretty much been scrubbed. So don't look for it. It doesn't matter anymore. We're not going to post anything about it, really.
Yeah. I mean, I'd prefer my students never hear this.
Exactly. So don't look us up on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Don't worry about it. We're doing our own thing.
We do our own thing now.
What else did I used to talk about?
I think that's
I don't know if I'm gonna figure out how to get this back on Apple or Spotify. It would be
We'll
nice
see.
to.
Maybe it'll just be a YouTube thing. Who knows?
But we'll definitely be. Yeah, we'll definitely
It'll be
posting
on
it
a thing.
YouTube. You're listening to it now. It's gonna be on the thing.
It's wherever you're listening right now.
I think those were always the things I talked about. Oh yeah, if you have any topics that you want us to talk about, keep them to yourself. We're doing a limited series run. We got this, okay? I think I touched on all the things I would used to end an episode about.
I think so.
But anyway, this has been From Our Perspective. Thank you all for listening. I've been Trace.
And I've been Sam.
Goodbye.
Toodaloo.
You hit the toodaloo.
I did.